Today we're making a steak and mushroom pasta. So first I'm going to get some basil ready. I do love that I'm growing my own basil now. I can use fresh anytime I want. And you're just going to layer the leaves. Normally easier if you put the larger ones at the bottom and then the smaller ones on top. I like basil, so I'm going to use a decent amount of it. Then just roll it up. And then we're just going to shift and knot it. Pretty much just slice it. There we go. We got our basil ready. We're going to put that in a bowl. Next, I'm going to get my mushrooms prepared. You don't want to wash mushrooms because they'll get waterlogged and everything. They already got a lot of moisture to them. What you want to do is you pretty much just want to wipe them down. All right, once you have them prepared, you just want to slice them up. Slice them as thin or as thick as you would like. And we're going to do that to all of these. And these are also cremini mushrooms, if anybody was wondering about that. Pretty much like a baby Bella. All right, now I want to go ahead and get my steaks ready. So these are just some tri-tip steaks that I had left over from another dish. I'm just going to misto spray a little bit of olive oil on them. And we're just going to keep it simple with some sea salt and a little bit of black pepper. You could do this a couple different ways. I'm going to sear the steaks whole and then slice them up. You could always slice them up ahead of time if you like and then sear it. It's totally up to you on that part. I just feel when it comes to the sear, it's a little easier if you do it in full steak form. And then we just want to do the same thing on the other side. All right, so we're going to have a pan nice and hot. We're going to add some olive oil in there. Let's go ahead and sear up our steaks. We're going to let this sear for a couple minutes on each side. I'm not fully cooking the steaks during this, just searing them. All right, after a couple minutes, we're going to go ahead and give these a flip. They're looking pretty good here. And then we're going to give this side a couple minutes. All right, after a couple minutes, we also want to try to get the sides the best we can as well. I like to get a sear on all sides. All right, after we have all sides done, we want to go ahead and get these out of the pan. I don't like to skip any sides. Sear is flavor. All right, in the same pan, we are going to throw in the mushrooms. Add in a little olive oil. And then we just want to get these sauteed down for a few minutes. All right, after a few minutes, I am going to add some garlic. And I'm just going to grate it in. Grating in your cloves of garlic definitely powers the flavor quite a bit. Makes it a lot stronger because you got all of that extra garlic in there. And it kind of breaks it down and releases the aromas and everything. Pretty much turns it into a garlic paste. And then we just want to saute it for a couple minutes with the garlic in there. All right, after about a minute or so, I want to add in a little bit of wine. If you don't want to add wine or you don't have wine, you could always add a little bit of beef broth, chicken broth, something that will kind of deglaze and loosen up all those bits at the bottom. You definitely don't want to lose that because that is a lot of flavor. And then we're just going to let this cook for a moment, let that wine reduce down a little bit. All right, so once it's reduced down, I'm going to add 2 cups of heavy cream. And then what we want to do is we want to cook this and get the cream reduced down. It will come together here shortly. All right, while we're reducing, I'm going to switch over to using a whisk. It's definitely a lot easier when it comes to sauces. And we want to have this at a low simmer until it reduces down and gets a little bit thicker. All right, while our sauce is thickening up, I'm going to go ahead and get our steaks all sliced up. That way I have them ready. As you can see, they're not fully cooked, but when we add them back into the sauce there towards the end, it will finish cooking. If you want to leave it more of a rare steak to just put on top, then you could do that as well. All right, we'll come back, check out our sauce. It's slowly starting to reduce. Of course, it's not quite there yet, so we're going to go ahead and let it keep going. All right, I'm going to go ahead and add in part of the basil now that it's getting closer. That way the flavors can start coming in or coming out of it. I'm also going to leave a little bit of basil on the side for garnishing. Go ahead and just get this mixed up and we'll continue to reduce down. This would be also about a good time to start getting your water hot to do your pasta. And you can choose whatever pasta you want for this. I'm going to add in some cheese. I chose to do 2 different cheeses. I'm doing a shredded Swiss that I shredded up myself. And I'm going to add in some mozzarella as well. Do whatever cheese you wish. Mozzarella is good. Parmesan's definitely good. Parmesan makes it more of like an Alfredo and everything. But I'm going to just do a mixture of Swiss and mozzarella for mine. Do it as little or as much cheese as you would like. And we want to go ahead and get that cooked in. Go ahead and also get your pasta going. All right, I want to go ahead and get the steak added in now. Just get that mixed up. Like I mentioned when we were cutting it, if you prefer your steak to be raw or more rare on top, you can always just leave it out and put it in at the end. I'm going to go ahead and add it in, start getting the flavors and everything incorporated into the sauce. And the sauce is almost there. We're just a couple more minutes here. All right, at this point, I'm going to go ahead and give it a taste, see what it needs for seasonings. I like to do the seasonings after I add everything in. So it definitely needs some salt and pepper. I add in some more salt. And this time for the pepper, I'm going to do some fresh cracked black pepper. And I do wait until the end just because the steak had seasonings and everything, so I want to make sure that I'm not going to add too much. It's definitely easier to add more seasonings than it is to pull it out. Sauce is smelling amazing. The garlic is nice and strong. I'm smelling everything. You definitely get a lot stronger aromas when you mince your garlic. Or grate it, I should say. Alright, our sauce is done. I decided to go with bowtie pasta tonight. I was originally going to do some linguine. I decided I wanted to use some of this stuff up because I do have a lot of it. And my kids will eat this over the linguine too. This is definitely going to be a good sized meal. And it's fairly cheap. Doesn't cost too much. I want to say this whole meal might have been $10 or so. Maybe a little under, maybe just a tiny bit over. Not too bad though. It'll really just depend on how much you spend for your meats and stuff. And this is enough to feed probably 5 or 6 people. Just get it all nice and mixed up. It smells really good. All right, our pasta's all done. We want to get some of that plated up here. I want to make sure I get a little bit of everything, the mushrooms, the steak. There we go. There's our pasta. So now we can always do any toppings that you want to do. I'm going to add just a little bit of extra mozzarella cheese right on top. And then I'm going to throw in some of that fresh basil right on top as well. There we go. Now we got to try it. Get a little bit of everything in one bite. It turned out really, really good. If you like steak, you like mushrooms, I mean, you can't go wrong with this. Definitely give it a try. Anyway, thank you for stopping by. Subscribe, like, comment below.